Hello. So, in trying to save time and space, I'm just gonna get right into it. So, I'm looking at investment in human capital, and my target audience is the South African government. Now, studies, or one of the studies by the South African Journal of Science by William Blankley in 2009, found that when South Africa's level of innovation in industries is measured across all the other countries, South Africa scored 54.8%, which is quite well. And how did they achieve this? To make sure that it's standardized, they used the European Union seventh framework. That was the framework, and then the tool they used to ensure that it's standardized, they used what we call the CIS4. Now that puts all the countries on an equal level in terms of measuring innovation in industries. Sounds good. But now you go to the World Bank report, which tells you that South Africa's human capital index is only 0.41. Now that means that the cost of South Africa not investing in human capital is costing the economy 59% or 0.59. Now there's and then the World Bank in another study called Building for the Future 2015 goes on to tell you that South Africa's level of literacy is the lowest at 26%. Singapore's was the highest at 98%. Now already you've got a study that shows you that the innovation is at 54.8, but the literacy level is low. And throughout the courses that we did, it was highlighted to us that with automation coming in, a lot of jobs are going to be lost. There's going to be jobs that are going to be created that are not there today. But countries that are innovative will be ready to work with the fourth industrial revolution and with its automation. So now the reason why I say the South African government is my target market is because Manzini, in his article Measurements of Innovation 2015, looks at innovation in four spheres, which is technical, managerial, social, and soft, saying these need to overlap. That being said, now there's this gap that our innovation seems to be okay in terms of industries, but our HCI and our literacy levels is quite low. So there's this huge gap between innovation and the skills. And remember, we're trying to get the skills to be on par with innovation so that we are ready for the fourth industrial revolution in South Africa. So my argument is that fair enough, PwC 2019, which looks at the budget speech for South Africa, which was delivered by Minister of Finance Tito Mboweni, and the biggest budget sector, or let me put it like this, the sector that received the biggest budget was learning and culture, which was at 21.2%. Sounds good. But you go again to the World Bank report, they found that when they compare the amount of time people are spending at school and actually learning, there's a discrepancy. So, yes, South Africa is investing in education, but is it investing in learning? Apparently not, because the World Bank further goes on and shows us a diagram where you draw the invisible 45-degree line, and you'll see that South Africa falls below that 45-degree line and to the bottom, because with that line, whoever is above that line, their return on investment on education is positive. Whoever's below that line, their return on investment is actually negative. Not only South Africa below that line is, but it's at the bottom as well. So this gap needs to be bridged. So I say the South African government is my target audience because I think it's time that South Africa rather looks at improving the quality of learning in education, and the World Bank has already shown them how they do this. They use a test score of accounting development. So maybe it's time that South Africa introduces such so that the skills of our learners can improve. And once the skills improves, then we'll be investing in innovation from an ECD angle and not just at industries. Because what will ultimately happen is that industries will keep on being innovative, but the skills gap will keep falling behind, and then inequality will exist, unemployment will just exist, and then which will lead to poverty. So South African government invest in innovation from an ECD point of view and not from just an industrial one. Thank you.